and welcome to 60 Second Gamer. My name is Anthony Tremaine. With me in the studio we have Mr. Richard Haddon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, very formal. And Mr. Simon Pryor.
Good evening.
Oh, blimey. And we are... Crikey.
Oh,
Threw me off a bit with this formal there.
It's late in the day. We've all gone quiet and respectable.
Yes, apart from me.
Yeah.
I don't think that'll ever happen.
You have to tone it down.
Yes. And I'll apologise if I do deafen any more with my coughing. I've caught a cold from someone. We are talking about Turok this evening. Not the old ones, the newer one, which not many
Bad
people.
textures.
Yeah,
Bad
I
textures.
suppose. They're not exactly the best. Story is generic.
Put your hand down.
Sorry.
Don't forget the mic's over here, so you know you want to.
Hello.
You can get a bit closer.
He does cocaine.
Hello.
Oh dear.
Delicious. So, oh dear.
Crab
Get on with it.
Story.
Some of us have got to go to bed.
Yes. Is your typical sci-fi mercenary story. Go to catch a criminal. Turok joins this band. I'll start this again because that's not the best description of the story I think I've ever
You're
done.
making it sound really boring.
Yeah, I'm really overly
It sounds-
complicated.
From what I've seen.
Yeah. He joined Turok.
Quiet.
Can't win. Turok joins this group of mercenaries who go onto this planet to try and find this war criminal. They are then shot down and discover the planet is inhabited by dinosaurs.
Of course it is.
Yes, as is the way to keep in with the old Turok canon.
Franchise.
Even though this one's a reboot, but never mind. And they've gone completely as far away from the original comic from what I
Apart
can
from the
see.
dinosaurs.
Apart from the dinosaurs, they possibly could.
And Turok has a shady past, doesn't he?
He was once part of the enemy group that they're hunting out, and he betrays them, apparently. I haven't played that far in to find out why he betrayed them, but hey-ho. Modes of play. There's two. Online, which, before anyone even begins to criticise me by any means necessary...
You say that before I'll butt in. They'll have already left a thumbs down on the review.
Yeah, you can put a thumb up, because I'm being honest, I haven't played the online, which is why it's not in the review. So you can take your thumbs down and shove them where the sun doesn't shine very often.
Very often.
Yeah. Sometimes it just depends.
Maybe not at all.
Maybe not at all, no. So I'll just get that out of the way before anyone starts complaining. And the other mode is the story, which I've already gone over.
Yeah.
And that's your lot. Apart from that, there's extras, which has end credits. That's it. They class that as an extra.
It's better than sort of their concept art.
Yeah, concept art and a trailer for the next film. That's
Yeah.
about it. But hello.
Hey ho. It's the wind.
Not
Not yours.
No,
Just
not my
general
wind. Yes. Apart from that, that's about it for modes
Is it
of
a
play.
first-person shooter though?
Yes. Glad you're on the ball.
Wouldn't that be a game mode of play?
Well, you said the story.
Yes, it was.
But
Yeah,
it's first
it
person
is.
shooter.
It is. It is.
Oh,
Your,
sorry, I thought you were onto modes of play.
we are on modes of play.
So it's a first-person shooter then, isn't it?
Yeah. T-virus.
It's your excuse for everything now.
It
isn't
is. Yes.
Ever since that movie review podcast.
Just
T-virus.
T-virus. T-virus for everything. That's what it is.
Mm,
3D
press
tele.
The flesh.
Yeah. It is your
Is it reach
typical
for the- oh, I can't remember.
reach for the fresh touch. I don't know. Press it. I don't know. It is your typical third person. No, it isn't.
First person.
First person. That's. I'll get there in a minute. Count down the numbers. Run round. Shoot whatever gets in your way. Pick up ammo.
Occasional quick time event.
Equate. Oh, gold. Occasional quick time event. Yes.
Stealth kills.
Yes, which aren't very gory. The enemies tend to
All very
spark
stealthy.
at you. No, they're not really, because I sort of
you just went.
I jumped off a ledge, ran at him full pelt, not very quietly, and then stabbed him in his obviously
all of a sudden he
neck.
wasn't looking at you.
Yeah. That class is a stealthy kill. And every time there's a quick time event, you kill the baby raptors. And as you may or may not see from the review, I can't remember. There are a lot of the animations are the same. They didn't do anything different apart from when they lunge at you. That's about it. But when he kills them, he just snaps them over the knee.
Very difficult to kill those little ones as well, aren't they?
They are little swines. They go like the bloody clappers. That's the problem. They're too quick. Far too quick.
Perhaps true to real life if dinosaurs existed today.
I suppose yes, but it does make for a bit of a frustrating game, which
The plot frustrates me.
it's essentially Avatar with dinosaurs, really,
look,
isn't it?
we're on an alien planet. Oh, there's dinosaurs from Earth.
Of course.
Why not?
They'd have evolved here completely independently, yeah.
T-virus. I think we've sort of filtered into gameplay without even realising somewhere on the way there.
It's generic first-person shooter
Yeah, with
missions.
not particularly the greatest textures in the world, but never mind. And quick time events and shooting lots of people, which can be a bit frustrating sometimes, because you do tend to take forever to get through certain areas because there's too many enemies that shoot at you at one time, which I can only imagine on Inhuman would be a bit difficult at times. And on top of that as well, the checkpoints are very unforgiving as well.
I think I can explain why the textures are so bad. It's because it's a first-gen PlayStation 3 game. Because I got Haze, which is pretty much a first-gen release, and that looked pretty much the same as Turok.
And that also wasn't very good.
No.
Well, mind you, I think Turok's better than Haze.
Oh, Haze is tolerable. It's just given what the capabilities of the PS3 were supposed to offer at the time. I mean, obviously since then we've seen more of it, but since when those games first came out, it was ultimately a bit of a letdown. It was a PS2 game with a PS3 skin.
Yeah, there. Didn't you have to inject yourself with honey or something like that in that?
Nectar, but it's not actual nectar, but it's using that concept.
Oh.
It's a drug called nectar, but yeah, it's a
Yeah.
different
I'll leave you with that one, I think. Multiplayer, as I've said, haven't played it, so if you got any complaints, your mom, I don't want to know. I've already admitted I've not played it, so you can't have a go at me anymore, you horrid people. Controls, and we're swiftly on, is your typical first person shooter. X jump, triangle duck, R1 shoot.
Triangle's a bit of an odd choice for
It was a bit. I'd expected it to be more circle.
I'd put an L3 or an R3 on
But I suppose at the early days of first persons, it was on going on the basis it was those usually.
I mean, it's nice to see how far games have come in 3 years.
I mean, it's quite funny because L3 is to get your objective or your arrow to pop up, and a lot of the time the arrow doesn't pop up. It just sort of says, "Do this." Yeah, I know I've got to do that. Which way do you want me to go? Because you do get a bit lost sometimes, because sometimes it's not very obvious as to where you're supposed to go, because the texture's being so bad. You can't tell if you're supposed to climb up something or not. Where am I going? I don't know what I'm doing. Console exclusive? No. Because I believe it was on... Was it on Xbox as well? Because you played a demo of it on there, didn't you?
I'm sure they'll have released some sort of DLC for it as well.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think it sold very well, did it?
It didn't do very well, no, and they did plan a sequel for it, but because they laid so many people off in the company who made it, they cancelled it. So I think it may have brought the Turok franchise to a abrupt
grinding
end,
halt.
unfortunately, yes. Which is a pity, because I look quite...
It turned into that goat from Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Had his leg thrown on top of a car.
A bloody stump.
What did you think of the demo, Mr. Hatton?
Oh, clunky. It didn't look particularly great. The shooting seemed very heavy. The stealth kills didn't seem to work.
Just generally a bit clunky. Unrefined. I mean, that's the impression I got. It's just they were not far off from actually perfecting most parts of it, but at the same time they didn't go that extra mile to you just tinker with it a little bit more.
You
and
do
it
get,
ended up being a bit.
yeah, you do get that feeling
Possibly
sometimes.
studio, well, publisher pressure to get a game out
Yeah,
there.
well, it was Touchstone, wasn't it? So they're probably pressuring whoever was.
And it was very PG friendly.
Yeah. Apart from when you stabbed dinosaurs, he tends to scratch raptors' eyes out and just blood everywhere.
It's died.
And I think a T-Rex gets its eye shot out, which is akin to the original game where you shot a T-Rex's eye out, which was then ripped off in Dino Crisis because you shot a T-Rex eye again. It to be a recurring
What's the shooting
pattern.
of T-Rex's eyes?
Yeah, shoot the right eye.
Shoot her.
Shoot her.
That's because it was the right eye that scared people in Jurassic Park.
Yes, it was tended to be the right eye, so people tend to go fucking shoot it. You can only see through
Comes
that.
down. Hey, yeah.
Gonna
Hello.
Yeah.
Cheeky wink at them as it comes down. Hello. DLC, I don't think they've done any, to be honest. I don't think it sold well enough for them to even bother doing any. I think they shut down not long after it came out, from what I
Who
remember.
developed it?
It was Touchstone.
They published it.
Yeah. The developers were Propaganda, who I've never heard of.
I think they may still be going.
Were they? Oh, it's a shame they didn't make another one. It's funny you should say it's very PG-13 friendly. It's actually rated a 15.
Yeah.
Not that there's that much violence in it, apart from the dinosaurs that bleed an
Swearing?
awful lot. No, I don't think there is. I could be wrong, but
I was quite impressed with the fact that I noticed that Ron Perlman voiced a character.
yes, that was very well spotted. I didn't notice that. The gruff, grudge
There's some
bearing.
big Hollywood stars in there.
Yes, there tends to be in a lot of games these days.
Yeah.
Propaganda is still going.
Oh, it's a shame they're not doing another Turok game.
Turok was released in 2008 apparently.
It's quite a while ago.
Well, it
They've
says
got the,
2007.
Yeah, that's why they've got the Tron Evolution game going, and they were working on the Armada of the Damned Pirates Caribbean game before that was cancelled.
Yes, that was also doomed as well. A lot of things seem to be
Doomed.
getting cancelled these days because the Legend of Spyro film's also been cancelled as well. Probably
It's all about
for
money.
Not really surprised.
no, that's probably for good reasoning. I think Activision cancelled it, which is the first time I've ever seen a game studio actually take control of a film, apart from Resident Evil. They
Yeah.
said, we don't like George's script, get rid of it. Graphics,
Very, very bland.
not particularly impressive. It's no Uncharted, let's put it that way.
As Si mentioned when we were capturing it, it looks like Prison Break, which in itself wasn't the prettiest game ever.
No. I've seen Ugly Sisters look better than that.
In places it looks quite nice, but then overall you've got a very much linear route that you have to take. There's very much freedom as to how you get to the goal. It's all very scripted and very straightforward.
Like the opening part of the game, where you're in the crashing ship. No, you've already crashed, my bad. But you can tell which corridors you're not supposed to go down because they blow up and get blocked. So you can only go down the one corridor that hasn't been blocked off, which is a little bit predictable. Although there is a bit later on in the game where you can either choose to go in all guns blazing or stealthily go across some pipes along the top. Or I think it's at that point you can nab a dinosaur egg and bung it in the middle, and a raptor will come along and beat the shit out of anyone that's nearby. But I accidentally shot the eggs when I was trying to. I wondered why the raptors kept spawning, and then they stopped spawning once I blew
And
the
now
eggs
you
up.
know.
Yep, and I buggered up the stealth
No,
approach
it's
as
half a
well.
battle.
Indeed.
Yes, quite indeed. User friendly. Yes, it doesn't take a genius to work out how to play it. Even it doesn't even have any tutorial. Well,
But there's no auto aim either, is there?
no.
So,
The only aid you have really for shooting is you zoom in a bit further, but that's about it.
and you're not very good at that,
No,
from what I've seen.
I'm not very
I
good.
can't claim to be any better, but
No, I'm pretty shoddy. Although I did get quite a few kills when you get the bow and arrow later
Yeah.
on, which is quite fun because you hold it back and dead in one. But
just imagine that with the PlayStation Move.
boom. Although it was like, it does get a bit annoying when you equipped it by accident during gunfights and think, oh, it'll be badass. Oh, it's just sort of bounced off them. Although you can pin people by their heads to walls with it, which was quite funny. And like you can pin them to the walls. I got a bit sadistic with it. I pinned the one guard left in the room by his shoulder to a wall and then shot him in the head. walked right up to him and he couldn't do anything, which was quite fun.
One thing I did like as well about the weapons was the knife.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of Commando.
Which you only ever use for stealth kills.
Mm.
Which, in the review, I'll be honest, that's the first time I've ever done one. I didn't do that last time, and I've never given the option since. Unfortunately, it doesn't really give you much choice. And soundtrack is just generic orchestra, big boomy, lots of percussion, action soundtrack. Really, I wouldn't really say it's anything special either, unfortunately. But there you go. That's the thing you get, I think, when a movie company gets involved with a game.
Yeah.
It doesn't end well. But never. I don't know. It's not a bad game for what it's worth. For what I picked it up for was $7.99 pre-owned. I technically only paid £1 for it because I traded Sword in.
Done it again.
Shut up. Thank you.
You've done it again.
I've done it again. Technically only paid £1 for it because I traded the Saw game in, which you'll see a review for at some point. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not even bothering with the second one. But so it's worth it. I wouldn't pay full price for it, but
It's never been one that I've ever had even any remote interest in buying.
nah.
So I'm glad you've reviewed it because
Yeah.
it saves me
The hassle.
Saves the torment.
I've got enough decent games to play as it is
Yeah.
without spending my money on Turok.
Trading in a terrible
Joseph Turok.
game. Yeah. Trading in a terrible game and getting a not too bad one in return. When a bad trade. But yes, I think we should wrap up.
An old man lives.
Yeah.
An old man dies. A young girl lives. Trade. No.
Oh dear. Yes, we should wrap it up there. If you have any queries or you want to moan about my lack of online mentioning in the review, then you can email it us.
Email at us.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can do that and all.
Westside.
West at info@randomstoot.com. Is that right?
Yep.
That's right.
Well done. You're learning.
I'm getting there. Or just comment on the videos. Your choice entirely. And as we shall see you next time on 60 Second Gamer. Toodle pip.